Hey guys, so we're going to be doing a painting by Matisse called The Goldfish. And it's going to be a lot of fun to do this painting. So you'll need your crayons and your watercolor paper, and we'll get started. And always remember, you can do whatever colors you want for this, and you can also plan to pause this as we go because I will move a little bit faster than I normally do, only because I don't want this video to be super long and super hard to upload. So I do it a little bit faster than probably you can do it. So don't get too upset if you need to pause, because you probably will need to pause. But have fun with it. Do whatever colors you want. I'll do the colors similar to Matisse's painting, but definitely do it however you want and plan to pause it once in a while. Okay, so let's get started. So first we're going to do the actual fishbowl. So this is a fishbowl picture. When you look at it, it definitely is a fishbowl, but it looks more like a fish cup to me, which is interesting, very interesting. So I'm going to start with this part right here. And so this part right here I'm going to start with is an oval, and it's kind of an ellipse. So we want our paper to be vertical, so up and down this way. I'm going to go about a little above halfway and do my oval, or my ellipse is what we would call that. I'm doing this with black. I'm going to do another one underneath it so that I have two ovals that kind of overlap. Okay, so this is the top of the vase or the picture, whatever you want to call it, fishbowl, and this is the top of the water. So I'm going to take my my black and go straight down like this to make my fishbowl, and then I'm going to curve it underneath. Okay, so I know that was a lot at one time. If you can get that going, that would be awesome. So inside of our fishbowl, we definitely have some goldfish there. So we're going to take and do our goldfish. So we have one goldfish here, and we're going to make him an oval. I'm using orange. I'm going to make an oval kind of on its side. Then I'm going to give it a tail. So it looks like that. Then we have another one in here, big fat one right here in the middle. I'm going to make him a little fatter. I'm going to fill him in with orange, give him a tail. And then we have the one above him who's kind of swimming downward. I'm going to give him like this, filling this in with orange, give him a tail and a fin. So he has a tail and a fin. And then this guy that's kind of underneath, I'm going to have him coming out from underneath the other one and have his little tail show over here. So he's kind of overlapping some fish there, okay? And then I've got my reflection of these fish, and it's just a blob on the top of this right here. 3 blobs, one here, one there. There's just kind of ovals. This one is kind of an upside down heart shape, so I'm going to kind of do that with it. So then you've got your fish in your fish bowl, and you have a reflection of the fish bowl. Now we need to do the bottom of the fish bowl with this green right here, this bottom part of the fish bowl. I'm going to do green, light green, and I'm going to kind of curve this down like this, and I'm going to fill this in. Now I've smeared a little bit of my orange, but that is okay, not a big deal, because we're going to paint over this with some watercolor. So you don't have to be real careful about getting every little bit of this white paper covered, but just for the most part to give it a green look to it, because we will put some yellow over top of this at the end. You can see there's some yellow on there. So the fishbowl has to be sitting on something. It's definitely sitting on a lopsided table with the weird legs of the table. So I'm going to take pink, make a pink color, and I'm going to draw my table. It could be purple, it could be pink, whatever you want to make it. But make it kind of big, because it's got to have some things it holds. So I've got this table like that in pink. I'm not going to color it in right now because I've got to do some things on the table. One of the things on the table is this plant right here, and the first leaf kind of looks like a banana. So I'm going to do, well, I made that one a football, but it's kind of more like a banana shape if you look on here. And then here's one that's more elongated, and then you have one that's really long right here, like that. So you've got 3 leaves that kind of look like that. So this is kind of a football, fat football, I guess you would say. On these leaves, what I think I'm going to do first is I'm going to color in 2 of these leaves. Color in this one, and then I'm going to color in this one. I'm also going to take yellow and go down the center of this one. And then I think I will color that in on both sides too. Kind of like that. Okay, so we've got these leaves with the highlights and things on them. It is sitting in a little bit of a jar or a vase that's orange, so I'm just going to put like a little hint of an orange, kind of a round shape underneath it just to kind of set it down. I don't think I'm going to do the black in there because it'll kind of distract. But I am going to put this purple flower, and it's kind of hard to see, but there's definitely a purple flower there, and it comes up like this, kind of comes up like a hook with a dot, and then I'm going to put white around it, because the white will show up pretty cool eventually, okay? So that's kind of it for that flower plant right there. We have another flower and plant over here. I'm going to do these leaves with yellow because they're more yellow. So I'm going to do a football-shaped leaf here, going downward right here. I'm going to do another one that's kind of a banana shape right here, yellow, so it's kind of banana. And this one like a half moon. Whoops, broke my crayon. A half moon shape. That's kind of upside down. So you see how that's kind of a moon, kind of a banana, and kind of a football. Easy to remember that way, okay? I'm just going to color those in with a light green because they have some light green on them, but they're kind of yellow, so give it kind of that shape to them. And they also have an orange base. So I'm going to make this base a little bit bigger like that. I think I will put the black center on that. So I've kind of got this column here with a curved top. And I'm going to take black and put a little highlight in there to make it sit a little bit, okay? So our table, if you look at it, is pink, but it does have some white highlights in it. So I'm going to just take a little bit of white. I'm not putting a lot. I'm just going to put a little bit of a white line. It's kind of going in the direction of the table, like this. This. Little hints of white, not the whole thing, because we want our pink to show through. We are going to paint this table pink for sure, but we just need some white highlights in there. Okay, so the table is sitting there. It's kind of hovering. It needs the table legs, and these table legs are a little bit iffy, I would definitely say. So I'm going to take my table legs and go down like this, one here, and then one here. That it ends up being like that. And then I'm going to take and do a circle in between. Not really a circle, more of an oval in between. So it's got kind of a look. It's kind of stylized. It's not real, because if this is a real table, it'd probably be toppling over. In fact, this painting kind of gives me some stress because it looks like it's sitting on a table that's about to collapse. So that's okay. Matisse can do whatever he wants with that. Okay, we're going to keep the same color that we did this table legs, and we're going to give it a little bit of a line that goes down like this and like this. It almost looks like a chair or a couch, the side of a couch, but it's a railing. So I'm going to do 2 of those like that. And then I'm going to take white, because it's got this nice white line down the center, and just do a nice heavy white line down the center. That will show up when we go to do the painting. I'm also going to do some black lines in here because we're going to paint this whole thing blue, and there's some black that's in there. So I'm going to put some black lines, kind of diagonal. If you want to make them hooks like they are there, you could do that too. So now we're going to get green, and we're going to use a lot of green. There's a lot of green at the top of this painting. There's a lot of leaves and flowers and greenery. So we're going to start with this leaf right here. Show it to you a little closer. This one, okay? So it kind of looks like a heart, and it's over in this corner right above our railing. And it kind of goes around like this, like a heart, like the top of a heart. And then instead of going straight back like a heart, it's going to jag its edge a little bit and then jag its edge back. So it has a heart shape, but it has some jaggedness to it. I'm also going to take yellow on the inside and do some veins like that, okay? So we have this one main leaf done. We've got 3 that are together, if you can see it in my picture, 1, 2, 3. These are kind of like heart-shaped leaves. One's kind of more of a football, but they're kind of heart-shaped. They're right up against this. So I'm going to do one heart-shaped leaf like that, okay? I'm going to do another leaf right here that's a heart shape, upside down. And then I'm going to do this one as a fat heart shape, a little fatter, like that, okay? And I'm going to give them each stems that go down into here. Okay, so I'm going to take crayon and do the sides of these, just one side, just to give it some variation. So when we do the painting, it'll be variating too. Just give it some depth. There is another leaf in here, and I'm just going to put it kind of like that, a football shape, and color it in, because there is a little bit of a leaf. There's another leaf in there. It's just too hard to get everything in there, so I'm skipping that one this time. Okay, so we have another leaf over here that's similar to that one, but it's more smooth. So I'm going to do this one on its side right here. So we definitely have a heart shape on its side, elongated like that, okay? Looks like a heart, for real. And then we have another one that's a fat one that goes into it like that. I'm going to make the other ends come out like that, okay? And on this one, I'm going to give it green veins that come out like that, okay? So we have this shape. I think I might even color this leaf in just to give it some, make it different than that one. So in our top right corner, we have what I think is watercolor, what I think is wallpaper, and that is some dots with some stems. So I'm going to take my green, same green, I'm going to do some ovals on here, all on this top left section, like this. And then I'm going to give them stems, okay, just little lines like that. So just a little bit of that in there to show a hint of it. If you want to put one down here, I might put one down here because I think it needs it, just to kind of continue it. So then I'm going to take pink and do pink flowers. I'm going to do a little C like that, a little C like that, and a little C like that. Then I'm going to take it and kind of just radiate this way, like that, radiate like that, and radiate like that. So they kind of look like these flowers. I'm also going to give them a black stems because they have black stems. Like that. Okay, so we're going to do the bottom half of this painting. In the bottom half of this painting, we have this bottom right part of the painting. We have these flowers, and they look like almost ivy. So I'm going to do shapes that look like they're kind of round, but they kind of have blobs too. I'm not going to make them perfectly round or perfectly oval. They're just kind of shapes that are they're not perfect. Like this, I think, is wallpaper up here, so they're kind of similar. This is not. I think this is actually like vines. We have these kind of vines in Florida, and I think that's kind of what that is. So we've got some just, random green leaves. If you look in our picture, we also have pink there, so we're going to put some pink flowers here. I'm just going to make them little circles that are together because that's what they kind of look like. Just circles that are just wherever. This does not have to be perfect. Do a few over here, maybe one here. I think I'm going to outline them with white because they kind of have some white twinge to them. I don't know if that's a word. Just white kind of around them, just to kind of make them pop whenever we do our watercolor. Okay, so we only have like one more thing to do before we start doing our watercolor. And if you'll notice, this whole bottom down here is definitely very, very dark. So I like to do a little bit of black crayon lightly just to keep that nice dark color when we do watercolor. So I'm lightly taking my crayon on its side and just kind of going over this with black. Doesn't have to be perfectly done because we are going to use our black watercolor. It just may not come out super dark and super dark enough. So I'm just going to do a little bit of black down through here and around, basically around the table and down kind of in between the table and the flowers. So I'm going to do a little bit over here. Oh, and I forgot one last thing we'll do too. So don't go all the way to here. Just kind of leave this space right here. So we're going to do one more thing with that. I'm going to put some black up here. Black all the way through here. So this black around like that. Okay. So one last thing I forgot. If you look on here, hard to see, but if you have this printed out, you can see some little half football shapes that are leaves that are hinting of leaves on the side. So I'm going to do that with white. So you won't be able to see what I'm doing, but I'm making basically 3 football shapes on the side. Okay, so that will be that. So now we'll be ready to do our painting. So we want to get out our paint brushes and our water, and we keep our water away from our electronics. We have our watercolors, something like this. If you have other ones that are better, that's even better. If you have the really good ones, you want to add a lot of water, okay, because the water helps make that crayon show up. So I have my water, which is not super clean, but that's okay. So I'm going to start at the top, and in the top of our picture, you see that we have pink in the background. I don't have a pink watercolor, but I have red, so I'm going to use red with some water on it. So I'm going to use my red, and I'm going to paint the background here. Okay, I'm not going to go over my leaves yet because they are green. So I'm going to go over my background with this pink red color. Keep going. I'm going to go down in between this because the wallpaper kind of goes in between all this like that. Okay, so I've got my pink. Now I'm going to do green, and there's a lot of green in this painting. So I'm going to take my green, I'm going to go over my leaf. If I want my green to be a little brighter, I'll use less water. Okay, less water gives you a brighter, more intense green. If you want it to be more muted, I would use more water. Just depends on your watercolors that you have. So I'm going over that green. I'm going to go over this leaf too, down here. Definitely. And actually up in here is some green color too. So I'm going to do green. I'm going to go right over top of my flowers here because they will show up because the crayon wins when we do watercolor versus crayon. So I got my green here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the yellow that's inside of my fishbowl. So the yellow that's inside of my fishbowl needs to be clean. So I'm cleaning my brush really good before I dip in my yellow, especially after using green. I'm going to do yellow right here on the inside, not that outside one, on this one. Then I'm also going to do yellow on this bottom part down here when we talked about that. Like that. Okay, so next I'm going to do my table, which is pink, so I'm using red. And I'm going to go right over top of all of my stuff down here. And you can see some of the white shows through. So the white kind of shows through here for my pink table. So that's nice and pink, I like that. So now I'm going to use black. I'm going to grab my black paint, which ends up being kind of gray because it's watered down watercolor. So I'm going to do this here in my background. I'm also going to do it at the top of this and at the back of this. Right here at the back of your fishbowl. Okay. I'm also going to do my background back here. I'm not going to go over top of this railing piece yet because that's going to be blue, but I am going to go over all of this background over here with black, like this. All of this parts that are black. Now, when my black and my green meet, that's not a very pretty sight, right? We'll fix that in a few minutes. But if you look, my little leaves that I drew with white are showing up, which is nice. I'm going right up against my table, and I'm doing all of this down here is black. Now you see my little white that I put that made my flowers at the bottom really pop out. Very nice, very nice. Now I don't like this line right here, so I'm going to take plain water and kind of put some water between the two to kind of get them to transition a little better. See how that kind of blended a little bit better? Still a little bit of a line. I might take some green back into it, maybe over the whole thing, kind of blend down. But kind of blended better. So my railing, I want to do blue. So I'm going to grab blue and do my railing with this blue color, like that. So that our blue and our stripe in the middle of our railing is showing up. So that right there is our goldfish painting of Matisse. Matisse's goldfish painting. I know I went super fast with that, so make sure you stop along the way and get it right and do yours much better than mine. So I can't wait to see these. Definitely post them in the classroom page underneath the post for this week and show me all the great goldfish paintings that you've done. I can't wait to see them. See you later.